There is no denying I am no fan of OG Fortnite. Last year when it first came out around this time, after the thrill that was Chapter 4 Season 4, I was beyond disappointed with how boring the gameplay was. This year hasn't been quite as bad, but it's not great. It has been so not great that, for lack of better terms, I've been kind of taking a break from how I usually treat Fortnite. I haven't been streaming it nearly as much. This is only my second video of the season, and it's not a strategy how to win type video that I typically make. It's just me explaining what Epic did wrong and where they can go right from here. Hell, I didn't even want to get footage for this video just through normal BR or reload modes, so I just jumped into red vs blue so that I at least have some background footage to put behind my thoughts. So let's get through the good and bad of this current season, all through the eyes of a zero build player. Brief history with me for those who are new to the channel or simply don't know. I've been playing since Chapter 1, Season 6. I was an on and off again type person who only ended up quitting initially in Chapter 2, Season 2. I was only playing on the Nintendo Switch with a Pro Controller at the time. When Zero Build was introduced in Chapter 3, Season 2, I was in love. I thought it was great and it brought me back into the game as loosely as I was before. I liked it. In between that time, I played a lot of Apex, so seeing all the features kind of like bounce back and forth between both games and seeing them build off of one another was also very fun as well. But since Zero Build, I had it installed on my computer and I would play it from time to time. In the next season, we got the first wave of Dragon Ball skins, and that was the first time that I ever spent money on a free-to-play game. I would mostly play every season from then until Chapter 4 Season 3, which is when I started this channel, and from that point, I've basically played or thought about playing Fortnite every single day, keeping as current as I can through other content creators and social medias. Why I chose the wild season to finally go all in, don't ask me, but that's just how it happened. So when I say I'm coming at this from a zero build perspective, I need y'all to understand that I have played a lot of zero build as well as when building was the only way. OG maps and loot pools are extremely unfun in a zero build setting. I get it. They added some zip lines, some rifts that don't go away to aid us zero build users, along with our 50 overshield, but I am here to say that that simply is not enough if we are trying to have a fun environment for a month-long season. But it's only a month long, you say. Just deal with it. I hear a lot of people mention this, people who I really respect too, and I simply think that this is a bad opinion. These last 2 Novembers have felt very long, as the only option for my favorite game to play is a mode that I do not like. I suppose some people are very mindless and just flow throughout life and feel as if it's just not that long. However, I am a very mindful person. A boring day is a long day, and when you are used to playing Fortnite, thinking about Fortnite, and making Fortnite content, when suddenly all of that is kind of taken away, it makes for a very boring time as a content creator. As a result, these are boring times for myself, and I know I am not alone. If you play builds, my videos usually aren't for you, but especially this one. I like builds. The concept is cool, and I would one day like to become better at the game. But these OG seasons are absolutely made for you, and that makes me very jealous. I suppose this is how y'all felt during Chapter 5 Season 3, like your game mode had just been taken away from you. Slightly betrayed even. I totally feel it now. I thought last OG was just boring for me because I sucked at the game. Now I don't suck quite as much, and the game is even more boring. I think that is ultimately Epic's fault, not mine. I know I said it was the map and loot pool that are the issue, but really it's 90% of the loot pool and like 10% the map. I actually liked the OG map last year, and I think the Chapter 2 map this year has honestly been the most fun part of playing. I truly did not realize just how much of this map I would have remembered. It does feel like stepping back in time and hanging out with an old friend, so that part has been very cool. But oh my god, what is this loot pool? Ever since the moment Epic removed the War Machine hover jets last season, I feel like this game has just been moving at an absolute snail's pace. If you've been watching my videos for more than a month, you know I like mobility. Movement is my favorite part of any shooter. Zero build needs good movement to be fun. That is a fundamental belief that I will always have in this game mode. Since this OG season has started, we haven't had any good movement. Nothing consistent whatsoever. The first iteration of the season, before Eminem dropped, we literally only had impulse grenades and the grappler. Speaking of which, why does the grappler have to be so hard to find? Last season, we had 80 possible spawns for Avengers chests, and even when it was at a 20% spawn rate, people said that jetpacks weren't common enough. Well, right now you have like a 4% chance to get a grappler from a regular chest, an 8% chance to get one from a blue chest, and unless you go to a boss POI and clear a vault out, you have a horrible chance of actually walking away from your landing spot with any mobility. And it's a limited use item. Last season was peak mobility, and it annoys me to no end that people actually complained about it. But enough about that, let's keep on with how bad this current nonsense is. Normally, bad mobility makes the game boring. However, they decided to leave cars in this season, which was a very odd decision. We know why they did it, of course. There's a Snoop crossover with the 66 Cadillac DeVille car skin, and you can't have a car skin in the shop if you don't have a car skin in the game, so cars are still a big part of BR. And normally I like cars. Driving around is a great way to get from point A to point B. But you know what is also in this season? Boogie Bombs! So we are once again doing that. I get it. Having a counter to a car is great. But Boogie Bombs are without a doubt the worst item Fortnite has ever introduced, and it's not even close. There is no cheesier way to kill your opponent than to boogie them first. It is without a doubt the single most powerful thing I have ever seen. Yes, it is stronger than the pre-nerf Iron Hands. Yes, it is stronger than the Reaper sniper rifle. Yes, it is stronger than whatever you want to think of. And let's not forget that you can carry them in a stack of 10. And like everything else of value this season, they spawn incredibly infrequently. So when you are the lucky son of a gun that gets to pick up a stack of 2, 4, or even God forbid you get 6+ of them, you become a one-man army, and every fight you get into can be started off with an unbelievable advantage. You can even boogie someone multiple times in a fight. It's the worst. Like, I don't get how people think it's a good or fair item. People use boogies and don't complain about them at all, but somehow a Captain America shield was worth moaning about all season long. The Fortnite community is very weird to me. But, like I touched on, that's really the theme of our current loot pool. Most of the items are ineffective, and some of the stuff is very broken. If it's broken, it's rare, and if it's vital, it's also rare. Mini shields may be the most rare item in the game right now. I don't know if I've even seen more than a handful of minis all season long. Big pots can at least come out of the agency chests, but minis are at an all-time low. They don't even drop out of the rare ammo chests anymore, which used to be a guarantee, and that was a very nice thing to have for the last couple of seasons. Mid-season updates haven't provided much in the way of additions either. We got shockwaves added back into the pool, but their spawn rate is atrocious. You have to look for them all game to come even close to finding a full stack of 6. The Ice Spice Grappler is lame. Icy Feet is a horrible mechanic, so despite that being infinite uses, I rarely go for it. Kit's Shockwave Launcher is the best thing they could have added to the game, and that's a 1 of guaranteed on the map. Otherwise, it spawns in less than 1 in 1,000 chests, and only comes out of regular chests. So effectively, there is 1 shockwave launcher per map. There is also the regular jetpack on the map right now, which is barely worth mentioning. Not that it isn't good or worth using, but it too spawns insanely rarely, less than 5% coming out of a normal chest. So you'll find 1 in out of every like 21 chests, which is far more common than a shockwave launcher, but it's still not the most consistent source of mobility that I would like. Now, this to me is really only half of why the game is so unbelievably boring right now. The other half has to do with the other game mode that we share half the player base with, that being Reload. Reload as a game mode has had issues since day 1, and they have only added to those problems since then. If you like build mode, I'm sure Reload is fun. If you like team games, I am sure Reload is fun. If you just love to use hit scan bloom based weapons like this current Battle Royale season, I am sure Reload is an absolute blast. If you enjoy using Shockwaves, Crash Pad Juniors, and the Grappler as your only source of mobility, oh boy, do I have a game mode for you. But if you are like me, you like first person weapons, reusable mobility, good healing items with secondary functions, Slap Juice, Flowberry, etc. Fun in-game mechanics such as augments, hollow chests, capture points, nitro, dashes, low grav effect, plus so much more. There just has not been a game mode for you this month and for the better part of this entire chapter. But that's another video for a different day. It does fit in here though as well to simply mention that chapter 5 overall has been the worst chapter since Zero Build was introduced, and it's not even close. Maybe that'll be our next video. If you were around for my streams during the final weeks of Chapter 5 Season 4, I had one wish and one wish only for this OG season. Please make Reload good. To make it good, I guess you can break that wish down into 2 things. I wanted a fun solos mode and a change to the loot pool to make it a little more modern. Give us a first-person AR, something like the MK Alpha that's not too OP, but still gives us an option. Or maybe the Chapter 3 AUG that was a little slower shooting than the last season's. Anything first-person. As a FPS fan at heart, I was really hoping for this. But no, it remains hit scan, third-person bloom-based weapons, and snipers. Oh yeah, I don't know how I've gotten this far into the video and haven't mentioned the true theme of Chapter 2 Remix. Snipers are just everywhere. It's the only good scoped weapon in both BR and Reload, so it really doesn't matter what you play, you will have to worry about getting your dome taken off at any given moment, and both modes have bad mobility. Fun times. On top of all this, they didn't even make solos reload properly. The current way solo reload is set up, you get 3 lives total, and for each of them you keep into the endgame, you get 1 time extra 50 overshield. So if you keep both extra, you will have a total of 350 HP until you are shot for 100, and then you go back to your normal 250. Who on earth thought of it? I hate to be negative here, but this is just trash. It's an absolute trash system. They advertised at one point that you would get a life back per elim. Now there is 0 ways to get your lives back. Solo reload isn't even reload. It's just another BR with incentive to camp the early parts and keep your lives so you can get the overshield bonus that will inevitably go away very quickly in the endgame that you receive it in. Epic really should consider rethinking how they do solos reload. It promotes camping and currently is just incredibly unfun. The best way to play reload currently, if enjoying the game is your primary goal, is to just forget about the lives and overshield and run and gun the whole time. Push everyone and do not care about the shield bonus since it goes away so easily. Or if all you care about is winning, loot up, never fight anybody, and then get the extra 100 overshield and use that to camp only further, only engaging when it's a third party in the final 2. That is the playstyle Epic is promoting currently with how the rules of the game are set up. At least they gave us another map for reload, and Oasis is honestly top tier. That is the one bright spot for me this season. For both game modes, the maps are actually great and a lot of fun. But my god, the loot pool in both truly could not be any less enjoyable. The thing that really adds annoyance to all this is honestly having to hear about a brand new OG game mode coming December 6th. Really? Now they decide to make OG a permanent game mode? That's kind of crazy to think it took them a full year. This should have been their move last May, I think it was. That's when Reload dropped for the first time. With that being the case, between OG last year, Reload this year, being in the game consistently since summer, now into Chapter 2 Remix, which is effectively an OG season just with cars and hip-hop, and all this being led into yet another OG game mode, all I can say is, damn, y'all OG fans are eating well. I really hope people who enjoy modern Fortnite, who consider Chapter 4 peak modern gameplay, can get a little something to snack on with this upcoming Chapter 6. I won't lie though, I am hopeful and optimistic. I don't think they would have even advertised the new OG mode this early on if Chapter 6 wasn't going to be an absolute banger. Rumor has it augments will be returning, and that's a huge one for me. If we can just get a solid first-person weapon in the loot pool and some good reusable mobility, y'all be seeing me back streaming often and making strategy videos regularly. If not, well, come hit up my Pokemon channel, because we've been doing some fun things over there recently, and if Chapter 6 Season 1 isn't what I hope for, I may have to put this channel on the back burner longer than I wanted. But I don't think that'll be the case. I am hopeful that in less than 2 weeks from today, we will be able to talk about how amazing this new Japanese theme season has been. But for now, keep an eye out. I think I will make that Chapter 5 kind of review type video, but more talking about all the things I think Epic did just so incredibly wrong, of which there is a huge list. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate y'all staying through the whole way. Please comment your thoughts on the season from a zero build perspective. What do you think Epic has done right? What have they done wrong? And how can they improve going forward? I would love to hear what others think. Thank you. Love you all. And we'll see you on the next one.